Oda is really cooking with gas now. I know Oda has been saying that we have entered the final saga of One Piece for a few years now, but it was only when I saw this panel that it really hit me that yeah, after all this time, One Piece really is approaching the end. And it's probably going to be within the next few years at that. While I am quite sad about it, I am also excited to find out just what Goda is going to cook up for the end of his magnum opus. Before we begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. So now without further ado, let's talk about this chapter. First of course we have the cover story, where we see that the mysterious hideout actually belonged to who's who this whole time. Who could have thunk it? Probably everybody. But well, let's just move on to the main chapter. So we start off this chapter by continuing where we left off in the last chapter with the God's Knights and Loki, where we see that Loki has, of course, noticed the obvious resemblance between Shamrock and Shanks, and he inquires about it. Gunko tells him that it's none of his business, but Loki continues asking about it, since as he says, the fact that a great pirate and a celestial dragon share the same face is not something that can just be ignored. And surprisingly, Shamrock just straight up tells him that him and Shanks are twins, Shanks apparently being the younger one. Here he also says that Shanks at one point actually returned to Marijoa before deciding to come back down to the world of the surface. I guess that answers a question I had at the end of the last chapter, that being if Shanks knew about his connection to the celestial dragons. It seems he not only knew about it, he actually went so far as to return to Marijoa at one point. I guess that also answers another question I have had for a long time now. Around the time it was revealed that Shanks and Buggy were part of the Pirate King's crew as children actually. That being why it took Shanks so many years to finally start making a move as a pirate, since he was apparently already in his 20s. At the time he was recruiting people like Usopp in the East Blue. So I guess that was because he spent a little bit of time in the Holy Land Marijoa. So now moving on, Loki notes how it's funny that he ended up hating both twins, Shanks because he captured him out at sea and brought him back to Elbaf, and Shamrock for what he is doing right now, saying that once he gets out of his chains, he would of course enact revenge for what the knights have done to his friends. Shamrock gets mad at Loki's threat and shows off a little bit of what he is capable of by summoning the three-headed guard dog of hell, Cerberus, from his sword. Loki is quite shocked by what he is seeing. Gunko tells Shamrock that they should get going, so Shamrock makes the Cerberus shoot off its three heads and then retrieves the main body back into the sword, as they are leaving on a bird created using Gunko's powers by the way, so I guess she can also do this. Shamrock tells Loki to feel free to hunt him down and he will face him then, assuming he can survive the coming attack that is. Loki curses out the celestial dragons while watching the three heads of the Cerberus fly through the air towards him and then eventually stabbing him. I am going to assume he's not just going to die like this, but I doubt he will be in any condition to fight properly anytime soon. As they are flying away, Shamrock says that total subjugation of Elbaf isn't feasible right now since Loki turned them down, so they will have to change course by first taking the children of Elbaf hostage, telling Gunko that they will need one more person. So it seems that if these two weren't already a problem, we are gonna have to deal with a third person now as well. After that, we cut back to the castle, where we see that the two giant guards have regained consciousness, and they tell Luffy and the gang about what they saw. They of course assume that the person that they saw was Shanks. Luffy of course refuses to believe that Shanks would ever do such a thing. Luffy also notes that Shanks never talked about his family, probably because he considers Roger and his crew to be his real family. And as he says that, we see the guy wearing the samurai type getup from that one cover page with Crocus. So I am guessing this all but confirms that this guy is Copper Gaban, as a lot of people in the community have been speculating. It seems this guy is also headed towards the castle, so I guess we will find out his identity soon enough. And after that, we get to the final part of the chapter, where we see Franky and Ripley visiting the treasure tree Adam. Franky is excited to see so much Adam wood all around him, since he thought that it was supposed to be rare. Ripley remarks that she didn't know how valuable this wood was considered to be outside of Elbaf, and she jokes that now that she knows that, she should maybe sell some of it on the side, without anybody knowing. Franky retorts that she is supposed to be here to stop Franky from doing just that. Franky then says that the markup on Adam wood in the black market is understandable, considering how hard it must be to steal the wood from under the nose of giants. And as he is saying that, he notices something in the distance. Ripley tells him that what he is seeing is a mural from long ago, saying that it's probably something that some kids carved into the tree bark and then it got fossilized. And she also says that the mural is now considered a cultural relic due to its historical value. Franky is confused about why they would treat some kid's scribbles in such a way until Ripley tells him that these scribbles are from the Void Century. Franky is shocked when she says that and mentions that they should show the mural to Robin since she would be happy to see it. Franky then notes that it is quite odd that even though this mural was carved in elbaf, there are a lot of drawings depicting different races and not just giants. To which Ripley states that in the history that they are familiar with, while there were some conflicts with other races, there was never any actual cultural exchange. Which is why she believes that this mural is just a product of some kid's dream, since there is no way something like this could possibly happen in reality. After she says that, we cut over to the Owl Library, where we see that Saul is now showing the Harley, which is the religious text mentioned by Yarul in chapter 1136, to Robin. He tells her that the text is split into 3 chapters, with the 3rd chapter describing the present world, which means it is a sort of prophecy. After which, Robin starts to read the Harley out loud, and we end the chapter with a double-page spread of the mural with the 3 chapters of the Harley overlaid on top of it. And this might be one of, if not the greatest panel in the entirety of One Piece, where we can see a visual representation of the 3 worlds. And in the first world, mankind tried to harness the power of the sun. I am guessing this is the mother flame. The sun god then answered the prayers of the enslaved. The earth god then used its serpent of hellfire to shroud the world in death and darkness. It also says that they will never meet again. So I am guessing that means that the sun god and the earth god won't meet again. I think the first world might be the one out of the 3 that we know the least about. And then there is the second world, which I am guessing describes the Void Century, where the forest god tamed demons, which I am guessing is the origin of the devil fruits, where the demons were sealed into the fruits and that is what created them. And the sun god, which I am going to guess is Joy Boy in this case, spread the fires of war, those of the half moon, which I am guessing is referring to the Kozuki clan, as well as the people of the full moon, which I am guessing is referring to the civilization that NL encountered during his cover story. It mentions that the both of them dreamed of something, but then the celestial dragons came into power by slaying the sun god, aka Joy Boy, which made the sea god angry, and I am guessing that this is what led to the curse affecting the devil fruits, and also the fact that the world of One Piece is slowly sinking into the sea. This chapter again ends by stating that they will never meet again, which I am guessing in this case refers to the sea god and the sun god. And finally, the 3rd chapter, which pertains to the current timeline of the One Piece story, starts by saying that within the chaos there was emptiness, which I am guessing refers to the Great Pirate Era and the empty throne. Then it says that the remnants recall the promised day and hear the voice of the half moon, probably referring to all these races that are depicted in the mural, and the Kozuki clan again. Also, I would like to point out that the mural seems to clearly show Loki fighting alongside Luffy right here. So I guess we can now guarantee that that is definitely happening. The sun god guides the world to its end, after which the sun returns and brings a new morning, and they will surely meet again. This part I am guessing refers to something that has yet to happen, and I can't really wrap my head around it right now, and that is how the chapter ends. All in all, this was a great chapter of One Piece, where so many things happened that I am having a hard time wrapping my head around it all, even multiple days after first having read the chapter. I really cannot wait to find out where Oda takes the story from this point onwards. So I guess I will see you in the next chapter. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.